This is AFR's Reviews, from anime to figures and beyond. Hey, this is that time. Welcome to another episode of AFR's Figure Reviews. It definitely has been quite a while, but I'm back to share more Figma figures with you guys. This episode marks the beginning of a whole new series of Figma figures from none other than the popular, the controversial, the much talked about Puella Magi Madoka Magica, or in Japanese, Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica, or in English, Magical Girl Madoka Magica. Don't worry, as this entire review will be spoiler free, so do continue on watching even if you haven't seen the series yet. So packaging wise, it's your standard Figma figure fare with a plain box design, surprising considering the complicated and dark feel of the actual series. It's pink to match Madoka, and we have a random pattern consisting of stars and circles. On the sides we have Figma Madoka striking a pose, and on the back we have a collage of pictures featuring the figure in various poses and showing off all the accessories that the figure comes with as well. So let's open this up and take a look at the contents inside. Figma Madoka does employ a number of innovative design features that allow the Figma figure to replicate the look and feel of the original on-screen counterpart whilst retaining plenty of articulation. First off, we have the front of her blouse. Now I'm sure that there's a proper name for this, but I don't consider myself an expert in female clothing, so do forgive me. As you can see, this entire piece is made from one thin piece of soft PVC that hides the chest joint quite well. No matter how you move it, left, right, up or down, the piece will bend to follow the curvature of the body and make it look really seamless. The second innovation would be the design of the skirts. Previously, for other Figma figures with long flowing skirts like the Nanoha school uniform figures and Figma Reimu, there was no waist joint as the entire skirt was a solid piece of PVC. Here, however, the skirt itself is separate from the rest of the body and is actually connected to her lower back, making it a separate piece and making a waist joint possible. I'm not sure whether this is made possible due to the specific design of Madoka's outfit, but I would really like to see this trend continue in future releases. So those were the two main design elements of the figure that really impressed me right off the bat. There are a couple of smaller things like the improved back neck tilt, for instance. Also, the ribbons on the feet are made of soft PVC and are a separate piece. Now I find this a very nice touch, as the small solid PVC ribbons tended to break off very easily on previous Figma figures, such as the Figma Haruhi Brave version. Anyways, design innovations aside, I really do like the attention to detail that they put into this figure. The character designs of the Madoka series are unique, to say the least, and I think the Figma figure does those designs justice. The sculpting and paint details are both crisp and sharp. To me, the parts that stand out would be her eyes that have the tiny lines in them, her soul gem, the design of her skirt from the minute markings and paintbrush effect, to the double layers of the skirt. Interestingly enough, the Figma figure is also considerably smaller than your average Figma figure to either match her age or character design. Articulation wise, as mentioned previously, is surprisingly good despite her limiting attire. Her head can move up and down, side to side, and side to side this way as well. Her little pigtails are on ball joints and are individually articulated. Her arms can move forwards and backwards, in and out. They are on kind of like a double ball joint to provide a greater range of more natural posability. Her elbows can move forwards and backwards and side to side. Her hands can move forwards and backwards and can also rotate at the wrist. Her chest and waist joint work in tandem to give Madoka a really great range of articulation thanks to the previously mentioned innovations. Her legs do move forwards and backwards, side to side, and they can also rotate at the thigh. Her knees do bend, and her feet can move forwards and backwards, side to side, and swivel side to side this way as well. And now for the accessories. First, the Figma basics. We have the 3-jointed stand, base, and the Figma Ziploc bag to keep all your accessories in order. In terms of character-specific accessories, we first have Madoka's main weapon of choice, her bow. There are two versions of the bow provided, one in standby staff form and one fully extended. I personally do like the design of the bow, as when activated, the flower bud that is in standby form fully blooms and the branches unravel. To go along with the bow are her energy arrows. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 of them. While some might feel that this is rather excessive, taking into account that you can only pose her with 1 arrow at a time, I suppose you could say that the extra arrows could be used as additional props to stick into other figures, or even as spares in case you ever lose a couple. Speaking of spares, instead of 1, we get 2 grief seeds. Now these are minuscule, but are sufficiently detailed for the size. Again, it's always great to get extras for accessories this tiny, but I really would have liked it if, instead of an extra grief seed, they would have provided us with Madoka's soul gem. And no, from early pictures, even her school uniform version does not seem to include one. No magical girl is complete without her very own cuddly mascot character following her around. Misty May has Posy King and Nega King, Usagi has Luna, Sakura has Kiro-chan, Nagisa and Honoka have Meeple and Maple, Nanoha has Yuno, and Madoka has, of course, the ever-lovable Kyubey. Now seriously, what will we do without him? The sculpting and paint details are apt for a figure of this size. The rings are actual sculpted rings, and the spot on his back is replicated as well. And unlike Figma Yuno, Kyubey actually has a point of articulation in his head. All the better to make contracts with. 9 exchangeable hands are provided, from closed fisted to ones that will allow her to hold her weapons and accessories, such as the grief seed, to an open palm hand, to a special right hand that will allow her to hold on to her arrow. And last but not least, Madoka comes packaged with 2 exchangeable faces, the first of which has her in a determined, battle-ready expression, while the second one has her in a shocked/grief-stricken expression that she uses so much in the series that it can be considered her signature expression. So in conclusion, Figma Madoka is a brilliant start to the Figma Madoka line, what with its accuracy, intricacy of paint and sculpted details, and innovations in figure design. It comes with everything you need in terms of accessories, which, to be honest, really isn't much when you compare her to the other characters from the series. While I'm not personally the greatest fan of Madoka herself, I have to admit that the figure rendition is superb, and it's definitely worth the money if you are a fan of the series, a fan of magical girls, or just wish that you could get a figure of Shinji in female form. So, this is Zach saying, see you guys in the next episode.
僕と契約して魔法少女になってほしいんだ。